Welcome to Just Jaina. 'Tis your beloved Jaina JASLYN here to shower you with enlightenment and knowledge, but mostly just my opinions and perspectives and experiences. This episode is all about passing, and consider it a follow-up video to my video on passing that was done very early into my presentation life. And that is, I had just started presenting full time. And I'm talking about, here, let me see if I can pull it up really quick. I'm talking about the video I recorded, I think it's only episode 4, where I was in a car driving talking about passing. And, nope, not episode 4. Okay, it's episode 6 called Is Passing the End Goal? Jaina's Guide to Loving Yourself. And this will be an amendment, like follow up with that one, because holy crap, while I didn't necessarily look really ideal in that video, I thought I looked like a queen back then, but still very masculine. But I'm still very masculine myself as well. So who's talking, Jaina? While I was recording that video, I hit the nail on the head so right, and I can't like really say my feelings on passing better than I already did on episode 6. So check it out if you haven't. But I've had a few more months in the wild, which is still not that much time at all. I'm still in the very, very baby steps, early phases of, well, the female life as transgender female. But I have a lot more experiences and a lot more thoughts on passing, and I've said them here and there throughout the last 20, 30, 40 episodes, and I'm going to kind of condense them into one video. Now, my wife is across the street at Target and expects me to pick her up soon, so I am on the clock here, and as long as this phone doesn't buzz, we're good to talk. Passing. First of all, I would preface it by saying my opinions on passing are very different than the community's opinions on passing. Passing, meaning being perceived as the gender you'd like to be perceived as, uh, specifically without the other person knowing that you are biologically the other gender. Passing is the ultimate end goal for so many people, and I understand. I'm not debating them. If your like end goal is to pass, and that's like what life is about, then that's awesome. Like I'm not taking that away from you. I just want to provide some additional opinions and my own take on it. Very early on, I created my own opinion on passing, which I lived out, I cling to, called my own, and it's been very, very successful. I took the power away from passing by not desiring it at all. Early on, I was quick to learn that people are going to notice something different about me and that I should be entirely okay with that, and that shouldn't affect my transgender experience, and it shouldn't affect my social life as well. Like whether or not someone could tell I'm transgender or male underneath, or biologically, it shouldn't matter. And I quickly made that my philosophy, and I'm so glad I did because had I been seeking the passing experience, I would have encountered difficulty, obstacle, and disappointment and discouragement along the way. Primarily because voice training and me don't really get along. My voice, I always slip back into a masculine voice when I get excited. That's just my natural, and I've been working on it little by little. But I realize my voice is gonna give me away, even when I'm a year into the transition. I might look beautifully female on the outside, but I will always revert to a very deep voice. It's kind of similar to what you're listening to right now. And so that was one reason I should find something to cling on to other than passing. Um, and in general, I don't want my experience to be determined by what other people think. I want what I think to be the number one determiner of my happiness and satisfaction, which is why I said, passing is not my end goal. But what is? I've created since then a philosophy on my end goal should be me expressing myself without reservation, without holding back. No matter how I'm feeling, whether masculine or feminine, I want to be received as Jaina JASLYN. I don't want to be received as a transgender. I don't want to be received as a supposed cisgender female. I want to be received as Jaina JASLYN. Because if I were, for example, to be passing in a situation but not be reflecting who I am, then what's the point? You're playing a game at that point. I don't want to be an actress. I want to be a real human being out there making an impact by being myself and having people reciprocate and feel my passion and energy and life force, embrace it as their own, and send some of theirs back to me. Like that encounter means so much more to me than passing does. So when I go into a new place and I know that people are going to be paying attention to me because I'm going to be interacting with them, I walk in there boldly as me, as just however I'm presenting in that moment. I walk in there, and if I see that glow in their eye or that twinkle or that twitch when they notice, hey, this is a transgender female, I don't care. Like, I enjoy that actually. In fact, I have created this desire to be perceived as trans female because I want to make a damn good impression for the transgender community. And I do that by being myself without worrying about how I'm looking or how I'm presenting. This theory also allows me to have as many bad days as I need because if I'm just shit at presenting as female, I don't want that to further derail me. I want it to lift me. Oh my goodness. So, these past few months have just been a true testament to the truth, at least my truth, in what I was saying in episode 6. That I want people to see past gender when they encounter me. I want people to see me as a sort of, without proper words, a sort of a third gender. I want people to see me as my own entity. I don't want to be categorized as male or female. Now, it just so happens I love female things. I'm still in my honeymoon phase. My wife calls me a 14-year-old girl because. Oh, wait. Okay, wow. I almost had a freak out moment. I, uh, I deleted a video last night because I'd recorded 30 minutes, like talking, and no audio was going in because I was on the wrong channel. Oh, okay, so whew, we are talking and being heard. I want to talk and be heard. I I've been working on myself. Now, I've been working on embracing the female life, working on my style, my makeup, my hair, whatever. Well, good girls do. But I've been working on myself. Who am I? Like, what do I have to offer the world? Like, am I a personality or am I a presence? I'd rather be a presence. And I have a silly personality, uh, and that's just a part of me, who I am, my presence. And this is all an expression of who I am. And I hope you, receive it. I hope you enjoy it and love it. That's my goal. My goal is to be heard as Jaina JASLYN, not necessarily as a transgender female who did things really good and now people think she's a cisgender female. That would be cool if I were to pass, and I believe that I have been passing, but I keep returning myself to that moment. Are you out there in the world doing what you need to do? And are you doing so as yourself? And are you not holding back? Yes to all. Good. You are living life. You are winning at life. And if you do that, you viewer, you will win at life. Like, how much time have you spent getting to know yourself? How many dates have you gone on with yourself? That's not a joke. Do you romance yourself? Do you fall in love with yourself? Like, these sound really hoity-toity, but they're not. Like, I've taken time to get to know myself on a personal level. I have, I jokingly call them dates with myself, where I am just by myself and I often talk out loud and I do so much soul searching. I tear my mind apart, but it's a great experience and I feel like I'm bonding with myself. I go on walks every day, sometimes up to 3 walks per day, and I just talk and talk, and I by the end of that walk, I feel so empowered, and I feel like, yes, Jaina, you kick ass. Like you should be able to feel that with yourself. Like you're stuck with yourself, right? Get to know yourself. Ask yourself questions. Find out something new about yourself every day. Life will get better. And it's only when you do that then you start to realize what I'm saying is true. That I want to be received as this person I've been hanging out with and working with and dealing and growing and educating. I want to bring this person with me into the world, and I want the world to fall in love with them because you are building them up. And by them, I mean your expression. Because your expression is like you letting go of yourself. Your expression, oh, that's a good one. Your expression is you taking yourself and putting it in front of the world. Now it's the world's. Then you return to yourself. Okay, how is that piece of me I just gave the world? How was that received? Were people benefited? Did people like receive edification and strengthening and empowerment? Basically, is this person I've been romancing and I've been working on and growing, are they well received? That is more important than passing as a gender, in my opinion. Now, I do a lot of thinking about passing, and of course, I enjoy it. I love it when I'm called ma'am, miss, lady. I love it. Like, it just makes me warm and fuzzy. Like, one of my best experiences passing was I was standing in line at a self checkout at Target, and I stood aside because all the registers were closed, the self checkout stands, and this man and his daughter rolled up next to me, and I didn't think they saw me, so I was thinking, oh great, they're probably gonna cut in front of me, whatever, I'll just let them have it. But the girl like looked over at me and then turned to her dad and said, she was about 12, 13 years old, said, "Dad, this lady's waiting," and like telling her dad to step back because this lady, aka me, is waiting. Now that was so like that touched my heart. To for this girl who is in her no filters phase of early teenage blossoming years, for her to make the assessment of me, consider me woman, meant so much than the people at the bar who were flirting on me because they thought I was a girl. But that was another funny story. Yeah, like it's so fun to pass. It is fun. Um, and if you're not at that place, like, don't worry about it. Because if you follow my approach of focusing on yourself first and just kind of setting gender aside, then you'll have so many more experiences to look forward to like that as you grow and as you learn about yourself and as you learn how to present as your gender. You will have experiences like that. There was one more thing I was gonna say. What was that? But blending. I was gonna talk about blending. Now, blending is a sort of subcategory of passing because blending is when you exist in an environment and people assume you are the gender that you are presenting as, but people are not paying attention to you. So imagine just a shopping center. No one's paying attention to you. You're walking through, no one turns, no one glances, and if they do, perhaps they're looking at what you're wearing or the color of your hair in my case, but they're not like, "Oh, that's a man underneath." No, like blending is a great thing to do and it will give you so much empowerment. My very first time that I presented in public was on July 4th and I blended. Like my very first try, I blended. Nobody looked, nobody paid attention. Now, mind you, it was night out and we were in the midst of a huge crowd, so no one's going to single me out and pay attention to me. But it felt so good for my very first time presenting to the world to blend well. And blending is a way to gain empowerment if you have a hard time passing. Just being in public, presenting, and having people acknowledge you as a fellow human being, as the gender you are presenting as, is great. Even if they are not like looking into your eyes or hearing you speak, it's still a great way to pass. Now, let's turn it back inward and end with a question for Jaina. Like, okay, this is my self proposed question that is actually challenging. if I were never able to pass fully, what would that be my feeling about that? I gotta admit, it's hard to think, like, what if people always tell that I'm transgender? Maybe my fears and assumptions about my voice never being fully feminine, maybe that might like plague me in the years to come. And I always come back to the original question. Do I love who I am? Do you love who you are? Yes, I do. Is your self-love dependent on other people accepting you as the gender you want to be received as? No. My self-love is not determined by that. Therefore, it would suck not to pass all the time because I do want to be received as female and treated as such. But if that's never fully a reality, I will have to cope with it. I will have to get used to it. And that's entirely okay. Like, what if an accident happened where you have some sort of physical deformation and unfortunately it's something you can't easily hide so other people see it all the time? Even people with that, they have they have to come to this point where they ignore that. They acknowledge that other people will fixate on that aspect, but that cannot deter them. They cannot distract them. Otherwise, they would be frequently distracted, right? So if I was stuck with like the something that kept pointing at the fact that I was male or used to be male, yeah, that would suck, but it would not deter me. And you would find a newfound, perhaps stronger passion, a stronger self love. That's why I just want you to love yourself. Seriously, just love yourself. There's so much self hatred and negativity in the transgender community. I've I had to stop visiting this one chat room where everyone was just self-deprecating. Like, "Oh, I'll never pass. So I don't feel I'm cute." And of course, everyone else would give them that enabling response like, "Oh, no, you're beautiful. Oh, you'll pass." But sometimes it's not true and those are just lies. But people were fixating on the negative where it was controlling their life. I could tell it was controlling their life. And I never want to be that way, even though I'm susceptible to that. I have a hyperactive brain. My thoughts are always turned inward. For me to be here proclaiming to you that loving yourself and presenting yourself to the world, whether masculine or feminine, is the most important thing, I should have fought that same battle to get here, and I did. And these aren't easy things for me to say because I've been through so much pain, suffering, tears, self hurt, self mutilation, which I regret. But I'm here now, and it's worth it. It's worth it to fall in love with yourself, to romance yourself, to get to know yourself as if you were a separate person. Because what you present to the world is different than who you are. What you present to the world is like the fruit. It's the offspring of who you are. So every time you present in public, you're letting go of part of yourself. And ideally, you'd want to let go of the best part so that only the juiciest fruits are being received by others. And I'm going to end it there. I really hope my words touched you. Um, I'm all like smiles and joy right now, but I've been through a lot of painful things. I've been through the pain of wanting to pass and feeling like I hadn't, and that's why I had to find something that worked for me, and I know it can help work for you. If you focus more on who you are and what you are presenting, whether male or female, then you will have so much more satisfaction, success, accomplishment in life. Because the world wants to see you, and you better show them your best self, right? And you could only do that when you love yourself. This is Jaina JASLYN. I love you, farewell, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.